Oh man. So, hopefully, I am live right now, and I've got sound and everything. Hopefully, I've had like I said issues in the past about that. Well, maybe if I can hear it. I got it on mute probably. It's hard to say. God, I hate that. Looks like I got a microphone. It might be my stream anyway. It's not showing up here as far as being live. It's hard to say. But what I'm going to be talking about is Max and Soulfly because they are going to be later on tour. They've got a new recruit in a Soulfly, which is not going to be the original band members, of course. Um, when they first started off the band Soulfly, which was a part of Max was a part of Sepultura originally, and then there's a whole story behind that, which I don't know all the details because I didn't know until later on, and so I knew they were, not the same group as far as that goes. So, and first I want to touch on Max success and what it means to him. There's an article on the Ultimate Guitar, which actually he's talking about his success and this, that, and the other. He doesn't need the Grammys. He doesn't need all this hype, like most people do. It's like I do what I do because I love what I do, and if I feel like I'm successful, I am. He basically says, cool. If it comes, whatever, and if I don't, it's all good, right? And he says sometimes the key thing that people get confused about is that they think that success is a lot of it, and he says a lot of it it's success with your family and friends, and this, that, and the other. Sorry, I'm reading kind of part of it, but he was just saying in the article that he doesn't want to make things all perfect and this, that, and the other. And I got some popping up on here. Oh, okay, there it goes. Um, he wants to make a really good album, but he hasn't gotten there yet. Even though people thinks that KSAD and Rise and all that stuff is successful, and I can see where he's coming from with that as an artist and like a musician. It's the same thing to a point. Um, it means a lot to him. Oh, that's wonderful. I guess I'll have to. Is this even playing? Oh, there it goes. Anyway, I hate that because you have to hit play on this to get it to work on the live stuff. Um, I got two things going on here. Sorry. Um, anyway, well, the way he was talking was that the songs he's doing, he doesn't feel like he's got the best album out there yet for him. And this is coming from the very beginnings to what it is now with Soulfly. And actually, I know that a lot of the stuff is really good. I mean, for years I didn't know that Max was in Soulfly itself. I never heard. I knew of the band, but I didn't know who was in it at the time. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Now that I'm streaming music, I'm learning a lot more who's in what. Kind of like Damage playing with Pantera. I did not know. I knew Vinny and Paul had been killed. Well, one was killed. The other one just had coronary heart disease. But I didn't know they had started their own band before that with Dimebag and Vinny. Vinny Paul, that is. And yeah, it was rather interesting that they had somebody that was mad at them and didn't want them to continue with that. So it's kind of sad to see them go, or Dimebag anyway. So it's kind of like Max. He's he started up his own band differently because of issues in the past, and you can't always expect that to happen. So it's sad to see that happen. I'm gonna get back onto the Max stuff. Um, he mentioned that he feels like he could make something even better later on, and I totally get that because, with like I said before, being an artist, being a musician, it's kind of the same on some things. I mean, not quite the same because it's music versus drawing, but which I do draw on Twitch as well, and it's rather interesting how he perceives things and this, that, and the other, and it's great. He just loves the beauty of the of music and all this other stuff, and sorry, I'm reading part of this. So yeah, I can see his point here. He's talking about how he's extremely happy with his friends and family with all the projects he's done, but I'm also hungry, meaning I want to create something meaningful in music all the time, and that's why I listen to music all the time, like I do, and other people. I want to still do different stuff, different sounds, different things, and he's done that with a lot of his stuff. Um, because that's the beauty of music. It's just like art. It's never being the same. It's never being the original. Like some people get mad about, like Pantera. Same thing. You know, they're thinking. I think from what it sounds like, there might be a possible new Pantera album out with different people. I don't know, but I think if they do it, they should name it something different. I think that would be beneficial. I don't think they want to step on people's, well, how do you say, feelings and beliefs, because who knows what will happen. Um, so the one thing is they are coming on tour, Soulfly that is, and they've got a new recruit in the band, guitarist Mike, I guess is who it is. Oh no. Soulfly recruits Philip H. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Alamoso and the Legals, the guitarist, and Mike Dillon. Anyway. Oh, okay. He is the new guitarist. Mike is. So, yeah, I hadn't read this article that much either, so it'd be interesting. But I guess it sounds like there might be I guess they're going to call it a reunion kind of tour, because they haven't been live at Soulfly for a while from the sounds of it. I don't know exactly when the last time they performed live, but it sounds like it's probably one of those that it's not been a while. It's been a while. It's kind of like the Max and Igor Cavalera show I saw in Denver. It was really phenomenal. It was really awesome. It was just blowed my mind away as far as that goes. So I was really impressed, and I loved it. I got to see lots of different bands this last year, because there's a lot of them coming back. There's some that I knew about, kinda. I knew the logo, I knew the name probably, but I forgot about it. And that was one of the bands that was in the opening bands for Max and Igor, which Max did the Above the Rise, which is the album, the very first album they ever put out is Sepultura, and the original, as he said, you want to listen to that original blank, can't say it on here, live, kind of thing. Well, we got it for you, and the original anyway. It's rather interesting, some of the stuff he he can still, just kick it like just like Dave Mustaine when it comes to live performances, which was, by the way, really good. And I got to see Five Finger Death Punch, which I had never seen before, and I've never been. I like their music, but I'm not been a huge fan of that. So it's rather interesting. But Dave was up there on stage just like Max was, kicking it, just enjoying the crowd, the audience the feed he got from people, um, all the energy and stuff. And they did a cover, I forgot now what it was. It was a Black Sabbath song, and they had lights on the stage. So Max was just, yeah, it was awesome. And I also got to see a local band, which actually would be kind of cool if I could remember the name. I don't remember who was playing the openings, the very, very, very opening, because I can never hear, sometimes I can't always hear what they say when they say their name. Sometimes they don't make it clear. They go, there's like, kind of like that kind of thing. So it's like, okay, what's your name? I did hear another band that I liked in Denver that was local called Purge of the Heretics, which I'm hoping that I can get them, or at least somebody on the band in here, actually talking to them about the music that they do. I think that'd be awesome. I figure I could always start with some smaller artists that are opening artists and stuff. Kind of like somebody else's friend that actually does music herself. Lux Lawless is the name. She doesn't do metal, but she does a phenomenal job singing. And Glass is her new song, and yeah, that is pretty awesome. So hopefully, I'll get to see maybe sometime in the future her, and in March will be Soulfly because they're going to be on tour. So I'm assuming that's the tour that they're going to be having a reunion kind of thing. It's going to have the original people that they did when they first started off with the same opening bands, if they can get them on board with that. I think that'd be great. I think it's awesome. That's even more so than others. I actually come to think of it, I don't even know who is opening for the Pantera stuff, which a lot of people were kind of questionable about, which I understand it, and I kind of feel the same way to a point, but then I don't. I don't know. I can see the way a certain individual mentioned it, which at least he's got the balls to say, hey, granted, you might not like it. Granted, it's not the same as the original, but he's got the balls to say, it's not going to be the same. It will never be the same. But we're doing the best we can with who we are as artists and stuff, and we're doing best to make that happen so people can enjoy the live, which means a whole lot to people. Because, like I said before, and I'll say it again, the live performance has so much more energy and this and the other. You can listen to songs all day long, but it's nothing like the real thing. It's kind of like Mudvayne. Man, Mudvayne is intense. It's like cool. I loved it. It was so. And Max and I go to Cavalera, same way. Slipknot, same thing. Yeah, that reminds me. Speaking of Corey, the whole Slipknot thing. He made the comment about, "Is this your first time here?" Blah blah blah. And are you new to Slipknot? And you'd have people raise their hand. Or how many people have been here from the very beginning? Yada yada. And how many people have never seen a Slipknot show? It's like, and I'm one of the ones that, like, was it almost 17 years later, finally get to see him live perform. And the reason why is I have my son. It's the same reason why the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch is planning on making one more album and retiring. So he wants to spend time with his kids, which I admire that. I think it's great. I mean, I guess apparently he was in the military before that, which I had no idea. Plus, I didn't know he was from Denver. So that was kind of an eye-opener. And I was there for it, which is really awesome. It was pretty heart-touching. His dad was there, and the kids were there. And he even mentioned that he doesn't always, how do you say or do things the way he does on stage. And my kids never have seen what I'm like here on stage, because I don't do the yelling, I don't do this, kind of like his singing, which I figure he probably doesn't do that. He's got good vocals, and that's the one thing. It was like, that's the part of my thing. I guess some of the songs sound kind of close, because if you hear the beginning, it's definitely a Five Finger Death Punch, but Metallica's kind of the same way, I guess. If it's one that I've heard maybe once or twice of a song from a group that I really like, and I don't know who it is, then that tells you something right there. It means that they're changing it up enough to where you have to actually look to see who is doing the song. And that right there, I think, means a whole lot. So it's not stale. And it's like the evolution of bands and groups. And I know me and I know, like I said, there's somebody that I work with, I think I talked about on my Twitch stream, that he has a thing about, which I can understand. He says, I think there's certain bands, he goes, I like, no matter what, they've kept their sound per se, and they, I guess the sellout type thing that Metallica, everybody says. I don't know. I think it's just evolution. I think it's just that they're trying to make a different sound. And I guess sometimes I think some people feel like they're doing it to please people, which, yeah, they're probably right a little bit. But like I said before, and I'll say it again, they won't grow, they won't evolve, they won't change. Max is the same way. With Soulfly, which the main focus of the talk is about, because he's done quite a bit. He's done all these different things with different instruments throughout his career, and even the new Sepultura does the same thing. They have a lot of different. Capital Enslavement was one of my is one of my favorite songs. Chaos, Pain, Fear, and Suffering, I think, is the name of the other song off their newest album. Very cool stuff. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if Soulfly has any new albums out. I do know one of the bands that my coworker friend actually introduced me to was Obituary, which they just put a new album out. So it's kind of the same thing. I don't know if it sounds like the original. Who knows? But he apparently is going to get the album, because apparently it's one of those groups that no matter how far in the future they go with new albums, they still kind of maintain the same feel. But maybe people write about the later albums when it comes to Metallica to a point, but then also the new album is under their own banner, their own label, so they don't have a record company telling them what to do, which that's what they're doing. They do it because they want to. They also have Robert in there. I think that changed the dynamic a little bit, because it's not going to be the same Metallica with different actual artists, because they're putting their own, feelings, emotions, and pizzazz into the new music that they have. So that means a lot. I think every band should have that. Kind of like when to put out a new album versus a single versus a cover versus everything, especially when you're starting off. I have a certain feeling about certain groups that I think kind of effed up a little bit, and that's my personal opinion, but that doesn't mean that's right. And whatever I say, if anybody, doesn't agree with me, that's fine. I don't care. It's fine, because that's what it's all about. It's different people's views about music and everything. I know one of my family members has a thing for Lamb of God. It's one of his favorite bands, his all-time favorite, because they're usually true to what they do. Except for the newer song, I think he doesn't like that one quite as much because it's not as heavy. Which I think actually doing something different is good. I've always felt that way about music, because as long as it grabs your attention, It stays with you. It makes you feel a certain way. That's what gets you. It's kind of like Symphony of Destruction and Battery and let's see here, and even Bloody Wood's new song. I can't think of the name of it now. Some of the titles are a little hard to pronounce for me because it's probably kind of Indian. I know September Morning has some really good ones. Not September Morning from what's his name, Neil Diamond. I think that's who sings September Morn. This is Morning, which she does a wraith kind of thing. But yeah, she's got 20 Below. I'm trying to think some of the other titles offhand. But yeah, I got to talk to them live, just like I'm hoping I can talk to Max and stuff. I think that would be awesome if I can meet and greet him. And like other bands, one, I didn't get to quite ask questions, which is a disappointment. I wanted to meet and greet slash have fun, but also to get to know them. Sepultura was a little short, unfortunately. They do give you kind of cool stuff, but you got to say hello and this, that, and the other. But they're from Brazil, so they don't. I think part is they cut it short because maybe their English is not the best because they're Brazilian. It's hard saying. Probably Max is. I don't know. That's a good question. I wonder if Max can. They know that they can speak English in the songs, so I would assume they know pretty well. But they have maybe an accent, maybe. I don't know. So, and plus we also got cut short because of the snow that they had. They went all the way around a mountain pass tunnel that was closed off, I think, and one of the band's Crowbar couldn't make it in, so we were kind of disappointed about that. But they actually came, of course, because they're the main band, right? And so that's probably why it was cut short. But it was afterwards, not the beginning, like they were originally planned, which most of them do. They do it before, so they gotta. They're not tired, worn out, and it was pretty late for them, or for all of us actually, and so they had to get going to their next gig. So they definitely didn't want to stick around for too long, especially when they were like an hour behind or something like that. Maybe I don't know how far behind they were, but they were enough to where they had to set up all the gear right on the spot before they even start playing, because usually they have that prepared, ready to go. Before you even see it. So they might be doing some of that with a meet and greet, because like the theater, Oriental Theater, which is a great venue, by the way. It's not too big, not too small. So if you're in Denver, you want to see a concert, I highly recommend it, because it's I kind of like the smaller venues because it makes you feel like you are connecting with the band a little more than you do the big colossal places like Mile High and the Broadmoor World Arena and all that stuff. And yeah, I've enjoyed those concerts way more than I did the big ones. But you can't see the big bands if you don't. So if the big bands are listening, do a few intimate ones once in a while here and there. I think your fans will enjoy it. You could probably even charge more for tickets, as long as you don't have people scalping stuff, which kind of is a big disappointment. I don't know. I don't even know if they call them resellers, I guess, which I didn't know. Online, it's like totally different than it used to be. At least they're official tickets. I think scalping's more of a fake ticket, or it makes you think that you got a ticket when you don't. That's why it's illegal. So I think my other family members said, wasn't that kind of wrong? It's like, well, no, because these are official tickets. I think that's the difference. So, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know, like, most of the smaller venues are general admission. They usually have some tables, which is cool. I still haven't seen a festival yet, but I'm hoping maybe with my son I can do that and maybe get to see Metallica live, because my son's been wanting to see them for a while. And maybe they'll have Metallica, Ghost, maybe Pantera, and some of the other bands that I know my family member knows probably better than I do, but also opened for Mushroomhead when he was in Toledo. And yeah, it was kind of interesting. Some of his views on the band and other things I'm not going to get into. I still think they got a good sound, but um, I think they think that Slipknot took that from them, is what he was insinuating there. It sounded like, so it's hard to say, you know. Oh, and also, I also know somebody else that actually had somebody that has met most, if not all, these bands. Her dad was kind of like the guy who set up all the gear and all that stuff, so that was pretty cool. And also somebody else that actually knows somebody that I really want to be with, you know, um, but not cheat, not cheat, uh, not insinuating that. She actually sent me a message about drawing and stuff like that. Do you draw, people, people's drawings? And I haven't really done too much of that. Um, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. So I have a few people that I know that are out there that are kind of connected somehow with that, but I'm not like in the fold yet, kind of thing. But hopefully I'll have some connections. That'd be kind of cool. Actually, I got to meet some of the local bands, and even one band that was replacing another band for kind of in the September morning stuff. Uh, and Raw, I think is what it's called. They actually had a really good sound. They're not super heavy. They're just a good overall band. And so is September. They're not like super heavy. They're more of a not really pop rock or something. They're kind of in between, I guess. She has some major kind of in between stuff. So if you like the lighter stuff and not quite so heavy, just kind of some good music, it's awesome. And that's the thing is, it's rather interesting, the difference between the different concerts and the people that were there, because not everybody's going to like the same, heaviness and lightness of songs. Like Lamb of God fans are going to be totally different than Max and I or Cavalera and stuff. Um, and yeah, it's one of those things that it depends on who it is. But it's crazy. I saw one show that people seem fairly normal, but a little bit heavy, into the heavier stuff, and they, had like the coats and their patches for Slayer concerts and stuff like that. So you definitely could tell that. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Slayer live too. That'd be so freaking awesome. I don't know if they play big venues or not, or small venues. Not like Megadeth. They're not as big as some of the other bands, but they're still well known. They're definitely well known. They're not. They're. I should say they're big, but not big too big. You know what I mean? They're not super mega big kind of thing, but they're big, 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 big. So it's like not. I don't know. I'm not sure as far as Ghost and Slayer, who's kind of ranked higher, who's ranked lower as far as the amount of fans they have. I know Soulfly is really big, and they have more followers than the Cavalera Conspiracy, which is Max and Igor both together. Kind of like Chad with Mudvayne and Hell Yeah. Um, he's got a side gig going. So does Corey. It's kind of interesting, these bands that actually do that, and they have different people in it. Kind of like Slipknot and Stone Sour. Stone Sour is good. They have some good music, but I heard they're not going to be probably doing as many more albums because it's just not as successful. And I don't think Corey's new solo career as Corey Taylor is really hitting it off too well, I don't think. Because, I mean, personally, I didn't really listen to the album, even though I know Corey, and he has got a good vocals, but a lot of his stuff is a little softer, and I don't think people expect that from him. I think they expect a lot more from him. I could be wrong. Those are the kinds of things I look for when I'm listening to the music that I listen to, and the things that I know are going to be huge and successful. It doesn't always have to be heavy to impress me. I think it's the way it sounds, the way it feels, the ways it makes me feel, and what I think other people will feel when they listen to it. Because when I hear something and I go, wow, that blew my mind, is the riffs, the dynamics of it, the vocals, even the lyrics. And lately I've been really honing in on the different instruments, trying to isolate that sound so I can hear how that part or component, like drums. Drums are very, you don't think about drums being very important. Well, some people don't. They're kind of like on the back burner because they're in the back. But when you really listen to a song without the drums, my God, the song would probably be flat as all get out. I mean, you still got bass guitar and stuff, but it wouldn't sound the same, I don't think. But guitar solos are really cool that way too. I know I just saw a Ghost concert where they had a little kind of like two guitarists are playing and they're kind of fighting it out kind of thing. And then they did Sweet Home Alabama at the end. I thought that was so cool. So I would love to see that live. It would be kind of cool to see them play Sweet Home Alabama too. Um, so they must have influences in country music too, which I'm found out somebody said there is such a thing as country metal. So I definitely want to explore that. It'd be interesting to see like country rap, or not country rap, country metal, metal rap and rap. I know they've had Ice-T on a couple different albums featuring him in like Megadeth's album, I think, the newest one. And I thought there was some other one he was in, but I can't remember. I think it was Ice-T. But anyway, so yeah, it'd be interesting to hear that and see that. It'd be kind of cool. Like I said, I like the variations sometimes. And I'm hoping that Max, I think that's exactly what Max was saying. This is going back to what he's playing for Soulfly, is that nothing stays the same. I want to evolve, I want to change, I want to enjoy it for myself. If people like what I have to put out there, then they can. If they don't, oh well. It's like I'm not here to make people happy. I'm not here to get the big awards. I just want to enjoy what I do. And that's part of it. You got to think of it that way. When people say they sold out or something, I don't believe that at all. I think they're doing it because they want to do something different. It's kind of like Metallica. They refined the sound. They had Bob Rock produce that album. They refined their vocals instead of, they were good with the vocals before, but they're better even now than they were before. And you can hear that if you hear an old song of theirs and you hear them perform the same song live today. Totally sounds different. James has increased that quite a bit. Well, it's 3 a.m. Wow. I wasn't planning on being here that long. So yeah. And I wasn't planning on being on here that long. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. So hopefully that will impact you in your musical choices and maybe see things in a different light. Kind of like I also did, I forgot about this, college course. I did public speaking. One of the things was a persuasive speech. So that's what I did. I persuade people to understand, hopefully, and realize that metal music is nothing more than just a little more roughness with a different tone of voice. It's basically it's a message with a different tone of voice. That's what it was I used, and it's true. It's about struggles and maybe successes and wrongdoings and things like that. Everybody has their own, how you say, message they want to portray when they do an album. Like Capital Enslavement, I think is phenomenal. Some of the other ones, Rata Matata, Roots Play Roots kind of thing. It's all about the rainforest and stuff like that. A lot of people don't know that, and people that have never heard them before might go, oh, okay. But if you listen to the music and if you can't understand the words because it's real heavy, look up the lyrics. It's rather interesting. Kind of like Suicidal Tendencies has a few songs like that too, where they talk about social media and stuff like that, and how things got way out of hand and stuff like that, and you can't undo the lies you post. You can't uh, Photoshop your certain things, this, that, and the other. I forgot the exact lyrics he used for it, but yeah, it's kind of fun. It's interesting. Is how the world's gone mad with this whole. That's the name of the song, World Gone Mad. If you haven't checked out, check it out. It's really cool. I love it a lot, and it means a lot to me because of the words. It's kind of like Happy and all the other different songs out there from like Mudvayne, phenomenal stuff. That was like my all-time favorites growing up as a kid. Is Happy, because it's talking about being happy, but you're not happy, kind of thing. Are you really happy? Are you happy now? Basically, I think that's what it means, and that's what I want to try to do with this. I want to do that. I want to actually ask what it was that got them to do the song. What was it that the lyrics mean, and what was the process of getting to the point where they had the finished product? That'd be kind of cool, or something along those lines, of a song or a popular song that one of their that's what I should do, is like one of their more popular songs, or what they feel is their most popular song out of what they've done so far. I think that'd be cool, and then we kind of break it down and analyze it. It'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be awesome, so you have a fresh perspective of the songs that you love and enjoy, and I think that says a lot. I think that's everybody has their own little thing of why they do what they do. So, all right, I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll have some people on here. I don't know, we'll see. It might be another year before that happens, because I still got to get followers, subscribers. So if you haven't followed and you haven't subscribed, or liked, I should say, the videos, please do so, because that will help me out. And especially if you're new, it might be a little dry right now, I know, but we'll get there. Just like Max says, do it for the enjoyment, not for just to impress people. That's what it's about, right? I think that says a lot. It really does. I enjoy what I do on my art. I enjoy doing other things, and I enjoy music, so why not share it, right? I think that is one of those things that we all can agree with, and makes the world a better place if it has a message behind it, or even not. Sometimes it's just something that the artist wants to express their feelings about their life. It's hard saying. All right, take care.